We're live. Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. That's Chris Katsopoulos. I'm Paulie D. Or wait a minute, is that Paulie D and that's Chris? I don't know. Welcome to the show. Happy Halloween, you sick bastards, you.
All right, you ghoulish, you know what? Get ready for a biggie. It's been a while, Paulie.
It's been a while. I got the whole room behind me. The fucking red light is on.
The red light. What was that guy's name in New York? Red Light Messina?
That's it.
Listen,
you don't get any more instigator than this.
Unfortunately, I got my Lurch shirt on tonight. You know, like you rang.
You rang. I don't know how much longer I'll keep this on because he can't suck down the beverage.
By the way, this is Paulie's beer that he left here a few months ago. He's more of a quarter miler instead of a full miler.
Oh, we got jokes, do we? All right, so I'm gonna probably take this mask off, but I just want to say.
Wait, I'll take mine off now. Pretty bad, anyways.
I just want to say, it's been a while. I actually, if I'm being honest, I almost canceled tonight's show, but I knew I couldn't. So, with that being said, here we are.
You are going to be on the Call of Duty tonight. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well,
so Paulie lives in Tampa, Florida, for those that don't know. Okay? And he came home after a hard day's work at the shop to an air conditioner that's busted.
Yep. No AC for me right now. So that kind of sucks. With that being said, we'll make do. It's not that hot. Hopefully, I'm supposed to turn it back on about an hour, so I got it. It froze over a little bit. Hi, Beth. Good to see you.
What's up, Beth?
Say hello to Beth in the chat room.
There's my other guy, Paulie. Look.
All day. Who's that, bro?
It's Chatterer from Hellraiser. Watch, look at his teeth.
You got so much crazy stuff, bro.
Yeah, you finally got a chance to see it all, eh? Like, it's hard to explain to people.
I know. So the reason for the early start is, like I said, my AC went out, so I'm kind of cool right now. It's not too horrible. And then I got to wait a little while. I got to turn it on. If not, I'll be hiking it out of here tonight. If you see the new studio in the background, I got Messier wall. I'm going to show everybody everything around. So there is my trophy case with all kinds of Ranger stuff and Yankee stuff. And there's my coach's board and wall. Here's some more New York Ranger stuff and crazy things like that. I got my Rocky because he's my boy. I got my Yankees. Lou Piniella is a good friend of mine. I got Gretzky wall right back there in the background. And, of course, you got the Messier wall.
Who's that bum? Who's that bum down below the Messier shirt there? I mean,
wait a minute. Oh, who's that? Look at that guy. That's Taxi with the instigator puck. It's good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff. All right. So we got a lot to do. It's been a while. It's been a long while, but it's good to be back. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to blow this picture up a little bit so I can sit back. There's a lot to talk about. I mean, before we get into the New York Rangers stuff, we're going to talk about around the league. Obviously, where who expected the Boston Bruins to be where they are.
Oh, yeah.
A lot to talk about with guys like Connor McDavid. What's going on with Toronto? How are they going to, I mean, they've waited for forever, and I don't know that they've made
they're working through a lot of crap right now. That's for sure.
any improvements really. So there's a lot to talk about. I just want to say fuck Biz Shitty.
Oh,
And
I concur.
okay, here we
Prune
go.
face, that prune face, flat face guy, whatever he is.
I really wish Ryan Reeves would just beat his face in one time, and I'd be happy. Barry, what's up? The Great Wall. It's good to see you.
Big bad Barry. We started early, Barry. We had to because Paulie's in the heat box right now. He's in the heat box.
Barry, I lost air tonight, so I got to reset the system in about an hour. So we got started.
Barry and I, all we have to do is open up a window to get some cold air in, especially at this time of the year.
This is for you, the Wall. This is for you. Hey, so look at this. Look what I got here.
Oh my God!
Oh, buddy.
That's like the lost card. They never made a card like that of me. So Barry had somebody make those for him, or Barry made them himself, and they're wonderful. I never got that card.
Well, good stuff. Courtesy of Barry, had those made. Anyway, I don't know what's going on here with the camera. I got to get that fixed. Great card. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. So, Chris, where do we start? I'm gonna take a look. I mean, a lot of things to be said. I know you wanted to. Let's start here, so I'll get aggravated really early, and then I can.
I want to stir shit up immediately.
Stir some shit up.
Well, I don't know what's going on with this deal with TNT, TBS, and ESPN, whatever ESPN Plus. But after watching the game last week, I think the Rangers playing in Long Island, and the game they lost 3-0, and they deserved to lose 3-0, but. I found out after that game that was going to be the only time that the New York Rangers actually play in Long Island this year.
Yeah.
Now, really, if that's not a WTF, I don't know what the hell's going on. Where's the rivalry to get the fans all enthused when you're only going to play a team once in their building, and I believe only twice at Madison Square Garden. I'm not 100% on that. But I think that's the case. Now, whose genius idea was this? What, so the Rangers can go out and play in Arizona or play in Vancouver or play out, you know what I mean, like San Jose's with the Sharks? Nobody cares about that. We care about rivalries. I want to see rivalries again. It's not going to be like it was in the olden days where you're going to have a brawl a minute, cheap shots dirty, but you can still build some kind of excitement by having teams play each other more than 3 times a year in your own division. It's just awful, 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 Paulie. That's all I got to say about that crap.
Well, you know what? I mean, again, if we go back, Chris, to when I lost my mind because the NHL just couldn't decide what network to go with, and then they build up NBC Sports Network for years, and then they cancel that and they go back to ESPN, and it's like it should be called the Search for Your Hockey Team, search for where you can find your hockey team along the way. It's just ridiculous because there's no consistency with the NHL and what they're doing when it comes to televising games. So, like you said, between the bad scheduling and not really allowing the rivalries to come back the way that they have, and just the network on how you're, all over the place looking for your hockey game. Is it on USA? Is it on TNT? Who's covering it? Where can it be? It's just bad management.
I just don't understand it. I mean, you got a built-in rivalry, since the beginning when the Islanders came into the league. You got a built-in rivalry kind of with the Devils. You got a built-in rivalry with the Flyers. You know what I mean? And I just don't understand that. I don't understand the fact that you're only going to play each other a limited amount of times. And when did it become more important to go out west, you know what I mean, and spread the games out over the 82-game season to go out west? I just don't understand that shit,
Right.
personally.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I think it's bad marketing. But I will say this, and it's just what you talked about, how they went from one station to one network to another. Bottom line is they follow the dollar, Paulie. And you cannot blame them for that. I won't blame the NHL for that. Yeah. ESPN years ago refused to buck up, like the cowards that they are sometimes at ESPN, because they are. And then, NBC took over, but NBC also, had a sports network themselves, okay, at one time, but that went, you know what I mean, went out. So NBC had to grab something. So they came up. There you go. I've seen that light go on a few times behind my back. Back in the day. You know what I mean? But I just, NBC was good. ESPN's trying. TNT's trying. I know they went for the almighty buck. But I just don't understand the scheduling. I don't understand how they did the scheduling and why you're not having more games in your divisions than you are outside your division. It's just stupid shit. It's stupid shit. That's all there is to it.
Yep. I can't disagree with you. Dude, I mean, do you love the shirt, bro?
Awesome.
Do you love the shirt?
Awesome.
Do you love the shirt? Where's your shirt, bro?
Well, it's upstairs. It's Halloween, so I had to put a little something Halloween on, Like,
I mean, you
I
don't
got
get
lyrics
any
from
more
the
Halloween
Come on,
than
this is pretty good. Lyrics from the Addams Family. You rang? Not many people have this shirt, so I had that, and I had this here. Come on.
I love it.
This thing would have fit on my head. You figure it out. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
But, I'll be wearing the shirt next show. Don't worry. All's good.
The only reason I'm doing this is because we said 9:30, so I want to make sure that people that are tuning in at 9:30 get to see my fantastic mask here. So let's do this.
Needs a few hacks and slashes in it, though.
Yeah, well, you know why I like this mask? Because it kind of emulates the
that mask looks great, but I think you got a hack and slash on that mask, the one you're wearing right now.
Well, the next place this mask is going is on that wall behind me.
Yeah, do me a favor.
Put some hockey sticks behind it.
Go run into the wall behind you, and you'll look like Biz, whatever his name is.
Biz Shetty. So I got the article I'm going to start with. Can you hear me okay? You can hear me good, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Through the freaking mask. So I liked it. Early season surprises.
Yeah.
Bruins, Red Wings, better than expected. And I know we're going to start here. Hart is playing like a number one goalie for the Flyers. And all of a sudden, the Flyers look like a hockey team, Cots. What do you? I mean,
well, we're gonna talk about them a little later. I want to use something with the signings of Johnny Gaudreau and Nazem Kadri, the big signings in the offseason. So
run.
I just want to like Johnny Gaudreau and everything else. It was a big signing by Columbus. We'll get into that first, okay? Let me do that first. Big signing. I don't know if it's paying dividends so far, although they did beat the Rangers pretty handily. But they're the bottom sellers right now, and that was a big move by Columbus picking them up. I don't know if it's going to take time for them to gel a little, but so far not so good. I got to give it a big F. The signing so far. The Nazem Kadri signing in Calgary, it's added a little bit to that team. They lost a couple of good players through free agency and all that, or to Florida. Actually, trade. Sorry. They've replaced those players with Huberdeau and stuff like that, and picking up Uyghur and Nazem Kadri. So from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing from my fellows up north, that Calgary's actually a better team now than they were last year with Tkachuk.
I don't disagree. I got to tell you, a lot of people ask me that very question, and the funny thing about it, Kotz, is that I think Calgary made out with Jonathan Huberdeau.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Florida. That was a big mistake from Florida. I think Florida got the worst part of that deal. I feel. I think Jonathan Huberdeau is a proven goal scorer. He's definitely, has a lot more skill, and he's come from an area where Florida wasn't great when he had him, and he's really evolved into this hockey player. And not that I don't like Kachuk, I just don't feel like the value was fair there. I think Calgary got a much better deal with signing, with getting and then signing Huberdeau. And I think,
And Uyghur.
yeah, I really feel like that's going to pay dividends for them. And I think Calgary's a better team. Calgary's a better team this year than they were last year.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree. Listen, Huberdeau is the upside on Huberdeau. Realistically, is he's just a little bit. Well, I wouldn't say a little bit. A lot better than Kachuk is when it comes to the offensive skills. Okay. And now Kachuk's a pretty good player. I'm not gonna knock him. He plays the game hard, plays it tough, has a lot of grit. He has enough skill, but I don't think his skill level is anywhere near Huberdeau's level when it comes to the offensive side. I think that's what Calgary needed. Especially after losing Johnny Gaudreau, to free agency. Calgary did a great job of recouping. Like, it looked like gloom and doom for him, but he did a great job. But I do want to get on to me, I think the best signing so far in the NHL this offseason, I need a drum roll here, is Uncle Vinny, John Tortorella, signing with the Philadelphia Flyers. There you go. Hey, you can say what you want. You can say what you want. Listen, he's infused excitement on that team. He's let those guys know that they better start playing, or they're going to be out of luck big time. And you know what? So far, you can't say anything bad about it. There, your boy Uncle Vinny's showing up in a big way again. He's turned Philly into so far a pretty good hockey team so far this year, and they've only given up to. They're going to keep on. Paulie hates Uncle Vinny, people, just in case you don't know. My secretary just came downstairs. Can you bring me another beer there, dear? Please?
Yes, I need a beer.
Come on, Paulie.
He should be the coach of the Flyers.
You gotta admit it. Uncle Vinny has excited that team, and they're playing pretty damn good, whether you like to hear it or not.
Uncle
Just want to let
Vinny.
you all know, guys. This is like what they call real beer from Canada. 5+% alcohol in it. Just like
Getting hot in here now.
Uncle Vinny got you. Come on, seriously, Paulie.
Getting hot in here now.
Best signing so far. Best signing to me so far by any team was Uncle Vinny, John Tortorella, to the Philadelphia Flyers. What's next, big boy?
I can't. So, well, let me just say this.
You go ahead and say what you want.
Listen, there's things that we agree upon and there's things we don't agree. Everyone knows I'm not a Tortorella fan. And it's funny because I am an old school hockey guy. I love the old school way of things. I watched him and I thought that he was a very spiteful coach when he coached with the Rangers. But with that being said, I can't deny that he definitely has the Flyers right now, possibly believing in themselves because they're really not supposed to be. They're still working through a rebuild and blah blah blah. But Kotze makes some points that this team. They are tough. They're as tough as they've been a long, long time. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens, but not a Tortorella fan at all.
I just know that for those that don't know,
getting hot in here.
Paulie nicknamed John Tortorella like that Italian uncle that you always have. His name's Uncle Vinny.
Uncle Vinny, he's a prick. That's Tortorella.
And I like bringing it up once in a while. Listen, you got to give him props. He's won a Stanley Cup. You can't take that away from him. Has he been successful everywhere? I say probably more successful than not everywhere he's gone. He's made the teams better where he's been. Maybe not so much in Vancouver, but there's an instant jolt in the city of Philadelphia right now with the Flyers because of John Tortorella. It's got nothing to do with the players. It's all about him right now. And you could be right. This thing could wear off after a while, but you got to give Philly props right now. To me, that's as good a signing as any free agent right now in the NHL.
You guys
the rest of the season still has to play out, but I think that's just as good as any free agent signing.
You guys all know come fucking Tuesday night, if the Rangers don't beat the shit out of Philly, I'm going to have a lot of crow to eat, but.
Well, I'm not telling you that they're going to beat the Rangers, okay?
No, I know.
But I know one thing, like when they're picking up a guy like Delorier, they already had that kid McCune. They're a lot more physical and tougher. They're almost, going back to a little bit of the Broad Street Bully days. At least you're going to play get played by a physical hockey club. So the Rangers better be ready. Oh, come here, boss. Come say hello to Uncle Paulie.
Oh, there's my boy.
Can you see him?
I love him.
There's his head over there.
Just barely. I love him. So,
that's all I got to say about that. Okay, give him a little bit of props for now. We'll see what happens in the long run.
So I got to address something for a friend of mine. So obviously, I always say fuck Biz Shitty, and he doesn't know why. So. Well, he knows. He does nothing but talk shit about the New York Rangers. He's never I don't like his approach. I think I've played some things on here, but no, nothing happened between him and Ryan Reeves. They were at a bar with a bunch of guys or whatever, and they did that boxing, that punching machine, and I guess the word out there is that Biz Shitty had the machine rigged for him. So he beat Ryan Reeves apparently in the power punch.
Yeah, I saw that.
Ryan Reeves said to him, "Hey, let's just settle this and get it done." And of course, Biz Shitty is a coward. He would never fight Ryan Reeves because Ryan Reeves would beat the living shit out of him.
They have actually fought a couple times, believe it or not. If you go to hockey fights and. One of them, Ryan Reeves, wipes the floor with him, but the other one, he doesn't wipe the floor with him. So, listen, my problem with Biz stupid or nasty or whatever you want to call him
is shitty.
Him making his little social that Instagram garbage, with ridiculing Rangers and grabbing the Ranger kid by his jersey and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I get it. You're making a name for yourself. He's done well off since his retirement with the booze and with his commentating, with spitting chicklets and all that stuff. But you lay off the fan stuff, okay? Like, you want to act like a jerk off? Why don't you try doing it with a real fan who might speak back to you and might talk back to you? And actually might punch you right back in the fucking mouth. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I got no problem. I'll punch him right in his face.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody might stand up to you because I don't buy that shit. I don't go around ridiculing fans like that and shit like that in public. I mean whether he's just it's a little game to him or not, we don't know. But that's the only thing that bothers me about him, realistically.
Paulie needs a ref. All right, Barry, I got you. I do. I always need a ref. That's what makes this show so fun. I don't see Mike in here. I'm a little disappointed in Mike. Jack, welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming by.
Yeah.
Flyers are on their game now. Yeah, they are. It's going to be an interesting game with the Rangers on Tuesday night. I think the only thing that the Rangers really, and I know we have so many other things to talk about other than just Rangers, but I think the one thing for the Rangers that is clicking is the power play. But I think the rest of their game needs a lot of work. Defensively, they need work. I think there's a lot of improvement, but I think there's not a lot of veteran leadership back there. You have, who do you have? You got Truber, and that's it, right?
Realistically, yeah, guy with the most
You
years. Yeah.
you got a young core, but they're decent. And I think they're going to grow into their roles even better than they are now. But with that being said, defense is about a team and how they play, and making sure you come back and cover your guy. But the power play's been clicking, so it'll be interesting. They haven't had a lot of great 5-on-5 hockey, Cots.
No, it seems to be a big problem.
And there's a Zibanejad line outside of the power play. We had talked earlier this year, or earlier in the season, and you had said something that's very important, and I couldn't agree with you more. You said this team goes as Zibanejad goes.
Yep, I really believe that.
And so do I. When his name isn't called frequently throughout the night, usually the Rangers aren't doing so great. If I'm being honest, I mean, I think he's really just a very quiet on ice leader for this team. His energy gives the team energy, and when he's flowing, the team's flowing. The guy that they're counting on right now, as always, seems like Panarin seems to be the ignition coil for this team a lot of times. When we talk about playoffs, they always say Panarin doesn't show up in the playoffs, but he sure gets you there. And you got to get there if you're going to play. So there's a couple of elements. I don't know if you want to briefly talk about a few.
When they went through their little stretch there where they lost to Columbus, lost to San Jose, I mean, teams they should beat. I was always taught that no matter what your skill level is, if things aren't working for you, and which they weren't for some of the high-end skill players on the team, there is something you can still do, and that's called body check. Take the man and hit hard, okay? And Chris Kreider has kind of locked that a little bit this year. He's been up and down with his offense. We know that. But when you're not getting it, you got to start using your body again, Chris. Same thing with Condre Miller. I mean, you're one of the biggest guys on the team, and you don't play like one of the biggest guys on the team. His skill level is so high, Condre Miller, that I just want to see him bang guys a little harder into the boards, you know what I mean? Take out with a little bit more, enthusiasm, a little more force. That way there, all that other stuff that he possesses, Paulie, his reach, his stick counting, his skating, his shiftiness, and all that stuff will be so much – the game will be so much bigger and wider for him. But until that happens, teams are going to hit him back and hit him back and hit him back. These are the things that you've got to pick up when you realize things aren't going the way you want it to. You know what I mean? There's other guys too. I could sit there and tell you over and over again. You talk about Zibanejad. I don't think there's a player other than maybe Adam Fox that plays everything you can possibly think of in a 60-minute game. Power play, penalty kill, crucial time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the only two guys that do that realistically on the team. So Zibanejad will be all right. He may have missed a couple of games where he didn't provide the offense, but I'm telling you, he's been working his ass off every game. Yeah. I can't say the same for a few others. A few others have taken it a little lightly, and stuff like that. Took some nights off.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's just do this. I want to keep going because we're on the subject.
Yeah.
I do need a beer refill, so I gotta.
Go run and get one.
I'm gonna throw this out, and then I'm gonna go get my refill. But I want to cover this because I said it last week, and a lot of people are like, "What? What do you mean?" Blah blah blah. I got text messages. Some people agree with me. I feel like, and I hate to hurt your feelings, everyone, but I love Chris Kreider, so don't take this the wrong way. Last year, 50-plus goals. What did he wind up with at the end of the year? 52?
Yep.
And Kotz, we talked about this at the end of the year. We talked about this in our closing show. I said this year I believe they'd be very hard pressed to see him get 50 goals. I hope he could break the 30 goal mark this year. He should. He plays a lot of minutes. But to this very day, I still don't understand why Chris doesn't always seem to understand what his role is on this team. He's not a puck handler. He's not going to deke a goaltender. He's a power forward, and he needs to play that power forward game. And I think sometimes it just, he needs to take the body. He needs to get down low. He needs to win the corner battles. He needs to win the puck battles down low. And then he needs to go to the net. He needs to crash the net. He needs to stand in front of the net. And he needs to deflect pucks. And I just feel like he's not playing that physical game that he needs to play, Chris. I'll be right back.
I can't disagree, but I also can disagree at the same time. I think what happens is when on the nights where the offense isn't there, you got Chris Kreider. You don't see him because the offense isn't there, which means they're not getting the opportunity to get the puck to the net like they want, and he's not able to do the deflections and all the the stuff he does in front of the net. But I also mentioned this earlier, Paulie, is that when things are not going well for you, there's other things you can do to provide positive ways for the team. And I agree with you that he needs to use his body more, when it comes to hitting people. He does win puck battles. I'll disagree with you there. When it's a battle for the puck, he does protect the puck well, and he does win 99.9% of the battles. But I'm talking about on the forecheck. When things are not going well for you offensively, when you're not able to get to the front of the net and the opportunities aren't there for you to deflect, he's got to hit with a little bit more force and take a little bit more, put a little more hurt into that check. That's what he needs to do, because he's really one of maybe 2 or 3 guys up front that are capable. Sammy Blais, Ryan Reeves, that are really capable of putting a hurt on you with a body check. And Chris Kreider's in that category. But while you were gone, I disagreed with you a little bit about, he does win the puck battles, Paul. There's one thing he still does good along the boards. When it's one-on-one, let's go for the puck, and we're going to stick it back and forth. You know what I mean? But when the opportunity is not there offensively, he's got to find that other game that he has. He's just got to find it. And so does a couple others, like Andre Miller. I keep going back to him. He's another one. You got to be able to use that body, not just for the long reach, to poke pucks away. Start hitting people a little harder, with a little bit more enthusiasm. Your game will just get better and better and better.
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. I don't disagree with you with Keandre Miller. I think he needs to play a meaner game. But I tell you, I remember last year at this point, probably 6, 8 games, 10 games in, Kotz. I remember saying to you, I said, it's probably everyone can archive it. I was like, I don't know about this kid. I'm not happy with his game. But in the time that he's played, he has grown so much, and he's really become. I don't know, Beth. Maybe you can check his ice time, but he's playing some minutes now too, man. I mean, he's always on with. Besides Fox, he's probably third in defensive minutes, I would imagine. You got Fox, you got probably Trouba, and I bet you he's right there, with Trouba as his defense partner.
Well, he got benched a little bit the other night in that Dallas game. Remember, they split the defense up, remember?
Yeah, they shuffled him around a little bit.
Which was a great move by I'm not in disagreement with you about his potential and right. his ability. What I'm against right now, I guess, with you is, does he want to be at the top of the mountain or does he want to be 3/4? Which one?
Right.
For him to get to the top, He needs to add some anger and meanness to his game. It's that simple. It's that simple.
I don't disagree with that. He's
It's
got
that
to get
simple.
ugly. Thank God he's got a great.
People got to fear going near you. They got to fear going into the corner with you.
Yeah.
They got to reach into the corner, not run into the corner.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about here. These players have been in the league a dime a dozen since the game started. That guy that you don't want to go in the corner with.
Right.
And there's guys in this league still today, even though it's not as vicious as it used to be. But you know when you go in that corner that you're in for a tough fight physically. That's all I'm looking for out of him. I'm not looking for him to improve his skating, his stick handling, his smartness, his shooting, his awareness. I'm looking for him to just give himself more room. You get more room by being a mean guy, not a soft guy.
Right.
That's all. That's all I'm saying.
So, I'm going to interrupt it real quick.
Right.
Hey, Beth did a lot of really good work, and I believe we're going to start posting this soon. We're going to be able to get beer steins.
Yeah.
I think you can even personalize it yourself as far as your name goes with our logo, and then shirts and the whole nine. So she did a lot of work, and we're gonna be lifting that up. Listen, if you want a shirt, I could still get you shirts right now. We're gonna be moving over to a different company when it comes to beer steins and things like that. But if you want a shirt, you got to email me. You can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. You can email me or Beth. Just hit me up. The Instigators Hockey Show, just like you see down here, all put together at gmail.com. You could email me or message me on Facebook if you're part of if you're part of our group inside of Facebook, the Instigators Hockey Show. Just let me know. I can start getting shirts ordered up, and then we're going to move over to this new company. They handle everything and have some really cool merchandise. So I'm pretty excited about that. You guys, everyone needs to have this shirt. I mean, how do you not want to walk
That's
around?
awesome.
How do you not want to walk around with this shirt? Actually, I even have the old ones. I think I gave Barry.
You showed me. Yeah, you gave Barry one of the old ones, I think.
Gave Barry one of the older ones for him to wear, I think, and he's got one in the Rink of Dreams. I was supposed to give Beth one. I haven't gotten Beth one yet, so that I have to do.
Shame on you,
right? Courtesy of my boy Barry Shelley. Barry, if you can get me a little bit more of these stickers, I'd be very happy. Extremely happy. We can put them on everything, like Katsy's face. See?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, how can you do that? I can't do that. We can put
also,
them everywhere.
Hey, listen, we can also put one on that receding forehead of yours.
Oh, here we go. What else? So, just let me know if you want merchandise. Next up, we're going to go back to the Rangers, I promise. Jumping around a little bit here. Kotz, I know it's really time to talk more about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh,
I know, you being a former Maple Leaf guy, you played for them. You were brought up in Toronto. There's a lot to be discussed there. The window of opportunity has come and gone. It just seems like it's a constant struggle. What happened? I mean, the rebuild went. They rebuilt. They collected. They collected. They collected, and here we are.
I don't want to say the rebuild is over. I think they're still on track, talent-wise. I've always said that, but there's just something missing on that team. I mean, I don't know, how these players, like, how do they feel? Are they gritty enough, Paulie? You know what I mean? Do they have enough heart? Did they all get their big money and now they're satisfied with what they've done in their life? I mean, there's no reason in the world that team should be 4-4-2 or whatever they are. and losing games to Anaheim, who've won one game so far this year, like they did last night. They were up 3-1 in the game and lost in overtime. Okay. I don't know what's going on there. Is Sheldon Keefe, the young, bristling star upcoming coach when they brought him up from the minors to invigorate the Leafs after the last coach there? You know what I mean? Is he done? You know what I mean? Have they tuned him out, the players? It's just really a weird situation there. And the only reason that I'm interested in talking about is not only did I play for him, but I have chatted with some of my former teammates who still live up there, in the Toronto area. And one of them in particular told me right off the bat, he says he's not going to another fucking game because of the way they choked last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Brendan Shanahan, I love him as a hockey player. I love the fact that he was a Hall of Famer. I love what he did as a player for the National Hockey League. I'm not so sure I could give him like a grade A or a B for being the president of operations of one of the most, famous hockey franchises, in the history of the NHL. I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a failure, but I'm not saying he's been successful either.
Yeah.
I mean, things got to change there in Toronto now. Where you started this, this section is maybe they do have to make a move. Maybe they might have to get rid of one of those big rich boys there, like Marner or something like that, or Riley, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But it's not really it's really not that good a situation there when you got that kind of talent on the ice, Paul. I still say if you go player for player for player offensively, they have the best offensive skill players in the league, I think, on one roster.
Yeah.
But it's not turning into Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
So something's got to give. Either players turn this thing around on themselves, or they're going to end up firing a coach, and they're going to end up Kyle Dubas. You're another one, the GM. He's the GM too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You're the one making the moves. Obviously, with Brendan Shanahan's okay. Is it working? I don't know. I'll give them halfway point this year to see where they are, because that team should not be a 500 hockey team.
I was going to say I haven't even really looked at their start. So, I got to tell you that watching Austin Matthews is fun.
But he's not playing up. He's not playing up to his potential right now either.
No, I mean,
great player.
Yeah, he's a dynamic hockey player, and you would have thought that as they continue to try to build around him and his skill, I think a lot of people say they make all these jokes. Sometimes I crack up, but it's not one player that chokes. It's the team. It's the team that just continues to seem to. I mean, they were hot last year. They were on fire at times.
They should have beat Tampa, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and so I think this year is really the year where if they don't reach where at minimum where they were last year, and I mean, losing to Tampa is not that it's ever okay, but I mean, they made their way. So now it's time to see where they end up this year. Do they end up,
To me, with the talent they have on their team, if they go just to the way they did last year with Tampa, and you lose again when all you have to do is win one out of two games, then that's a failure. That's a failure to me. Okay, that's
interesting to see. It would be very interesting to see.
You see what Jack Collins down here on the comment board. He says, "Don't get me started on the Leafs. Players are soft and have quit playing for the head coach," and that's possible. That's I did mention that a few minutes earlier.
Yeah,
it's possible that they finally had enough. But getting talking to old teammates and stuff like that, and hearing their dissatisfaction with the way the team's going is pretty telling itself right there, Paulie. These are guys that are alumni that are able to go to the games and stuff like that, and they don't even want to go.
And they don't want to go. That's hilarious. Um, all right. So we went through the Leafs. I did have this article that I never even started, but Kotz, did we talk about the Bruins?
Well, we did mention how they're leading the division right now. They're basically kicking ass right now, and I don't think anybody called that. But Pasternak's having a great year. Krejci's back, and they're doing it without with Brad Marchand. So, a lot of their youth is starting to really pull the weight on that team. That were pretty good players in the last 2, 3, 4 years. But you got to remember, Pasternak's in a free agency year, and he's already turned down one offer from Boston. They're far apart on a deal, and he might be a guy that's going to get that big money from another team.
Yeah,
he's having a really good year. He would fit in quite good with a lot of hockey teams, and I'm sure Boston don't want to lose him. But Boston's always, outside of a few players, and I'm going back to the Bobby Orr days. Bobby Orr days. They're notoriously cheap bastards when it comes to their contracts.
Yeah,
they really are.
Crazy, and yet they get it done. I mean, they seem to make appearances, and it's funny how Boston, everyone you never really say, look at how loaded they are with superstars. It's you just never say that about the Bruins. Yet they've been competitive for a long time. They stole a couple of Stanley Cups along the way. It's funny how a team like that gets it done. But, they did sit on a lot of good goaltending for a while. That's where they put their money. So it'll be interesting to see how, it's very early. I mean, I don't even think most teams played more than 10 games so far.
No,
right?
but I think Boston will be a team to be reckoned with the rest of the year. They're just like I said, the guys that were young 3-4 years ago are now finding their mojo. Okay, and then you have the Pasternaks, you have all the other guys that have been there a little longer than that, and I don't think they're gonna come back to the league. You know what I mean? I think they're gonna stick around the top as long as they stay healthy and as long as they keep Pasternak a little bit healthy. I think they'll be right there. Another team we got to talk about that. It's tough, but the New Jersey Devils with Lindy Ruff, all of a sudden, what are they? 7-3?
Yeah.
7-3.
Where did they come from? And what about the Red Wings with their start? 4-2-2.
That's more your liking, the Red Wings stuff,
I know, but I mean, the consideration, as I said.
Listen, the Red Wings improved a lot towards the end of the season last year.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, they weren't penciled in here, and neither were the New Jersey Devils. And like you said, they're 7-3, and what are they? 7-3, and
they're in second place in the division behind the Bruins right now.
I mean, that's insanity.
Listen, the Devils got a lot of young players. Hughes, that Brandt kid, whatever, and. Lindy Ruff's obviously doing a pretty good job getting that team together, and getting them to play well. I mean, I know it's only 1/8 of the season so far, but that's a great start for the Jersey Devils. I mean, another one, like you said, that nobody expected to happen, and there they are. You got to give them a lot of credit. There's a lot of surprises in the league this year. Right now, if you look at the standings, Colorado wouldn't make the playoffs. You know what I mean? That's how screwed up the league is right now. There's a lot of really good hockey clubs that wouldn't make the playoffs right now. And look at Vegas. All of a sudden, Vegas is resorting back to like their first year. They're in first place in their division too. So a lot of good stuff happening in the league. The problem is that we'll see how it all comes out in the wash. When game 82 ends, who's going to be the number one seeds? What matchups are you going to get? You got a long way to go.
So let me see here. Let me reach into my pocket and see anything that. I'll ask you guys right now. Anything else that you want us to discuss, Kotzi and I, right now? Just throw it in the chat line there or the comments, and I'll put it up on the board. Kotzi Barry said if you read the board right now, said something about Tom wasn't throwing food at you, Nicky was.
Listen, Tom's a big fucking baby. Quit bothering me with him, Barry. Okay? Seriously.
Have to admit, haven't watched many NHL games this season. Been a lot of AHL and the others. Let's see here. So, all right, if you got a question you want to ask, we'll pop it down there. So I was right. Miller is third in defensive ice time, tied for third. I think you were mentioning too. I was really impressed with Snyder last year, and I don't feel like he's as visible as he was. Kotz, what's your thought there?
Well, I think he's played okay. I'm not going to sit there and say he's played bad. I think he's done all right. I just don't see the physical presence that he had initially. Like he's kind of backed off of that. It's like it goes back to the Keandre Miller thing. You got to be physical at times, and just taking a man, and without any kind of force is not really being physical to me. So I think Schneider's got to pick it up a little bit. His defensive play is pretty good though, Paulie. Like he understands where to be, where not to be, and he knows when to jump in and out of a play offensively. I still think the best is yet to come for him, but I'd like to see him be a little bit more physical again, like he was a little bit last year with some of the body checks where he laid guys out and stuff like that. This all goes back to when you're losing, Paulie. When you're losing the way they were for a couple games, everybody, the sky is falling, this is falling. There's ways to get out of it, and the ways to get out of it is to be a physical force. Okay, things aren't going well stick handling wise. Things aren't going shooting wise. Things aren't going well with the offense in general. So why not go out there and be physical with people? That's the only way you get yourself back in a hockey game. And I think he needs to pick up that part of the game. But I'm not totally down on him. I think he needs a little bit of a jolt to remind him why and how he got to the National Hockey League. Barry, that's a good question. Bruce Boudreau with Vancouver. Listen, I love Gabby. Gabby's been a good coach just about 90% everywhere he's been. Whether it's the American Hockey League, whether it's in the NHL. Management is the one to put that team together. You know what I mean? It wasn't Gabby to put that team together. So you're right, Barry. He might be on the chopping block, but so is that GM as far as I'm concerned.
So you got Michael Rybeck about St. Louis as a head coach.
I'll let you answer that one. With Berube? Oh, Marty St. Louis. We're talking about Marty St. Louis in Montreal. Well, yeah. Well, what would you expect, Les?
I tell you, I love Marty St. Louis. I think he's probably, and he's always been, and people who know me inside of circles, he's probably been one of my favorite players to watch play the game. When you're as small as he is, to make the way in the era that he made, the amount of goals that he scored, and clutch goals, and just the very talented guy. But I tell you, I wish him nothing but success. And you know what? I don't think there's a better guy for Montreal right now. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who knows the game, someone who knows what it's like to, overcome the odds. I mean, that guy will tell you stories, man. He was undrafted. Wasn't he undrafted?
I believe so.
I mean, the guy stands at best at what, 5'9"? He might be 5'11" with 5'10" with skates on if he's lucky. But talk about a guy who's overcome the odds in the era that he played hockey. It's hard to be small and play this game. Not so much.
Hold it. It's not hard to be a small player and play today.
No, and I was finishing. In today's game, not so much. Marty played in, he played. Marty's got what, a 17, 18-year career? He came up through Calgary, didn't he? I mean, this guy.
my big thing about what he did going to Montreal is he is a Hall of Famer, a Stanley Cup player, very well liked by the fans in the NHL. And for you to give up that, he had a cushy job with the Rangers. Remember when he retired? They gave him a cushy job. He could have sat back, collected his money, did his cushy thing. But no, he stepped into which I call the burning ring of fire of Montreal Canadiens.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. Like if there's a place that you as a head coach don't want to go,
yeah,
it'd be Montreal, because if you don't produce, you're out.
That's all there is to play. Yeah,
and for him to step up and take that challenge on, and basically get the team to play a little bit like they did 2 years ago. Remember 2 years ago when they went all the way to the Eastern Conference?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they took a big dump last year. I give Marty St. Louis. Well, let's put it this way: he might not be tall in stature, but he's big in stature by taking that job. He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
There's one player on that Montreal Canadiens team I would love seeing wearing a New York Ranger jersey or a Toronto Maple Leaf one, and that's Josh Anderson. I love that guy. Big, physical, strong, gritty, hits, scores, does it all.
Cuts. Speaking of which, I was waiting all night. I want to ask you a question. What do you think of the play of Sammy Blais?
Well, I think he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's probably tied or leading for hits, during the games. I think I'd still like to see a little bit more out of him offensively, but hard to do when you play the fourth line, if you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
He still got. You got to remember, he tore his knee up pretty good. That wasn't just a small injury. So no matter how much rehab you do, no matter how much work off ice work you do, it's not the same as turning and cutting and all this stuff. So he's still probably finding his way back strength wise. You know what I mean, in that leg to get exactly back to where he used to be. But I got no problems with him right now. I know he's better. I know he's better offensively than his numbers are, but it just hasn't shown up yet. And then again, where are you going to get the ice time from, Paulie, when you got the top two lines?
Well, it's funny because I was going to ask you.
Or is this leading into the Filipino thing yet, or what?
Oh, jeez. I mean, if you want to do it, let's do it.
Oh, I've said my piece to you on him. I got nothing more to say about Filipino. You want to talk about it, you go right ahead.
So it's funny. I wish sometimes. I wish
we could record our phone conversation.
Yeah, and we would play it. We could play it on the show. But so I'll finish my thought with Sammy Blais, and then we'll move into a little bit of Filipino. And again, if anybody's in the comment section, you want to ask a question about any team or whatever, feel free. Sammy Blais. I really felt like Sammy Blais was one of the missing pieces last year in the Rangers playoff run. And I believe that he's going to be, if healthy, a playoff player for us. I hope throughout the year here, I think he's going to find his game inside the Rangers system. But I tell you, man, I love his physical presence, and I would like to see him move definitely at times into the second line and just kind of, I know that second line, there's a lot of development there for Lafreniere, and I appreciate that. And obviously we need Lafreniere as Ranger fans. We need him to develop his skill and get that ice time and be able to become that finishing complete player. But at the same time, I think I think Sammy Blay creates room for, and Trocheck's not afraid to take the body, but creates a lot more room for Panarin and for Trocheck, because Trocheck definitely has some, he's not afraid to shoot, which I like.
He's got a little mean streak in him too.
I would like to see him play some second line time, and really create some room, because I don't think the fans really know Sammy Blay's got some decent hands. He's not a big thug, He actually can handle the puck a little bit, and I think deflect and really make a difference up front, and definitely in the corners. He can pass the puck from behind the net in places like that. Get that puck out to Panarin or even Trocheck, and then drive to the net. I think I'd like to see him play some second line this year. It'd be interesting to see, but like you said, playing on the fourth line, the fans aren't going to be able to really know what Sammy Blais is capable of. But what worries me is that if your role isn't to get to the net, make a pass, go to the net, try to score goals, and you're just taking the body and running around a little bit, it's going to sour the sour the player when it comes to needing the offense from him.
I can't disagree with you letting them have the opportunity, but I will tell you flat out, it won't happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You don't just, regardless of what you think of the top two lines and the top six guys, those guys are going to be mixed and matched in those top two lines for just about the whole season, because you're talking about Lafreniere, you're talking about Kakko, okay? Number one and number two overall picks. They're not going to move them down to a fourth line. That's all there is to it. Plain and simple. No matter what Sammy Blais does, they're not going to move him. It's just the way it is, Paulie. That's the way hockey is. Now, whether it's 100% justifiable all the time, no. But that's just the way it is. Not going to happen. There you go.
Like the lamb, bro.
There you go. It's just not going to happen. I think where you and I get in our little beefs, and this goes to the Filipino thing, is you have to really do something outstanding, game in, game out. Not one game, 5 games. Not one game, 6 games. You have to do something outstanding in order for you to move up that pecking order, especially to knock out a first-round draft choice and a second-round draft choice. It's just the way it is. And that's not just the Rangers, Paulie. That's the league. It's the way it goes. Plain and simple.
So before we get into Heedle, I did want to talk about something because I think it's important. I love the development of – I think Kakko has shown, out of all those players that we talk about, when we talk about Lafreniere, because I do love a lot of things about Lafreniere, but I tell you, you notice when Kakko's on the ice right now, man. He looks good out there. He looks confident. He's not afraid to – he's making brilliant passes. I think his decision-making has been good. I mean, I am very pleased with his game right now, Chris, and I think his confidence level has just exploded, and he I know a lot of fans were like, where is this guy? Like, he was picked, 1A behind Hughes. What was it? In what, 2020? Was it 2020? I just think that he's developed quicker than anyone else right now on the team. And I love Lafreniere. We talked about him. The number one draft pick to have, you would hope to see a lot more offensive skill out of him. What I do like, though, is he has that North American, if he's not, reaching the back of the net, he's still doing all the little things well. And he's going to be a real, he's a complete player right now. And I think just breaking I think he has more skill than what we're seeing.
He does have more skill.
So hopefully he's really going to start lighting the lamp. But You talked about it last year in the playoffs where, he wasn't lighting the lamp, man, but he definitely wasn't a liability. And if anything else, I mean, he really covered the rest of the game very well. And it's good to see someone so young develop so quickly and really grab the game at this level. It's one thing when you're playing, college and the minors and things like that, but I mean, the kid's what, 21 years old? He's 20.
Yeah, and we got like a lot, you every now and then, and I every now and then we pick on guys, and I pick on Heedle, and you picked on Lafreniere a little bit. Let's call it what it is. You do realize he scored the most 5-on-5 goals for the Rangers last year, right?
I didn't realize.
You didn't know that, right? Out of his 20 goals that he got last year. That 20 goals, by the way, is 20 more than the guy that I keep talking to you about has never touched. No, I'm just going to say this. Lafreniere, if you watched the game last night, he scored a great goal by going to the net on a great pass by Panarin, obviously.
Yeah.
He probably had 2 or 3 other great chances. Lafreniere is getting his chances every night. Yet he still plays a hard game along the boards. And he does take penalties once in a while, which means he's into the game because he's doing something physically. So I'm not worried about him yet. Kakko, I'm going to tell you this. Kakko made himself obviously stronger over the summer.
Yes.
Okay? Because now he's able to shield kind of like, I'm not going to say he's Yager-like.
Like a Yager.
He's like a mini Yager right now. He's able to shield with the big ass where the guys can't get around him. Okay?
Yeah, he's strong.
The puck. Strong. But it also helps when you and I get into these debates, it also helps that he's playing with who? Oh, that's right. Zibanejad. Geez, they got to keep an eye on him.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Kreider, they got to keep an eye on him.
Right.
So it gives him more room to do his stuff now. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to comparing Lafreniere, Kakko, Hughes, and all these guys, Hughes went to a crap hockey club. They were shit. So Hughes got 25 minutes a night to start with. Rangers drafted number 1 and number 2, and their team was where? In the playoffs every damn year. Yeah. So where are you going to squeeze those guys in to get that experience right away?
Yeah.
They're not going to get it on a top-tier team. Doesn't matter who you are. That'd be like saying you're going to get Jack Hughes now, okay? And he's a game breaker type player, which I don't think Lafreniere or Kakko are yet, or ever will be. We don't know.
Yeah.
But you draft him now and send him to the Edmonton Oilers. Is he going to play ahead of McDavid?
No.
Is he going to play ahead of Draisaitl?
No.
I can go down the list.
Yeah.
This is how people forget that. Where you're drafted means nothing. It's where your team is in the standings and how well they are in the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 lines. So I'm not worried about those two guys. Oh, but I agree with you with Kakko.
Where you been, Mason?
Well, he probably thought we're on it. But I agree totally with you with Kakko, 100%.
Yeah, he looks
so much more confident out there. Yeah. Confidence. Very happy with his play. Trocheck's been great so far. I can't complain about him.
Yeah, I like him.
He's fit in pretty good. He's scoring goals when he needs to.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
There's still a lot of good things about the Rangers right now, but I think when we talked earlier about them, and their defensive play has been really, really not up to par this year. Very sloppy in their own zone, and it's not all on the defense, but the majority it is picking up the wrong guy. You know what I mean? They got to tighten that up a little bit. There's been too many games that have been seesawing back and forth, and if not for great goaltending by Shesterkin, games could have been out of reach. And I do disagree with everybody on Halak. I think everybody's criticizing this, guys. If you watch that game against the Islanders, the game that he lost 3-0, what do you want him to do? What do you want him to do? What did you want him to do in that game that he didn't do? What? stop a deflection, stop a shot close in front of the net, stop a screenshot. And in the meantime, the Rangers came up with goose eggs.
Right.
There was a 1-0 game midway through the third. So,
yeah, I mean, listen, I definitely wouldn't blame him in that loss. I think that was it Columbus?
I didn't, that's unfortunate. I did not see the Columbus game, or I did not see the San Jose game. I was busy.
I gotta think they lost, and I thought I thought there was a couple of pucks he could have stopped, but he did come back, and like you said, I don't think he played the Islander game bad at all.
I thought he played pretty damn good, to be honest with you.
And nobody's going to win if you don't. You got to score goals to win games. So the bottom line is you got shut out. So but if I think about it, Kotz, no, because those were back-to-back nights. So Shesterkin played the night before against Colorado.
Do we want Georgiev back? He beat Shesterkin.
Yeah, he beat Shesterkin. Yeah, he did. So, with that being said, I think Halak needs to, get some time.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, I think he's a very good backup. But look at Ranger fans; they're always bitching about the backup. They bitched about Georgiev last year. So there was times where they weren't happy with him.
He's doing pretty. His record's pretty good in Colorado, even though they're over.
Because he's playing every night. That's it. It's about ice time. You got.
It's like you always say, Paulie. It's about opportunity too.
Yeah, exactly. So
take advantage of it.
Zach Jones. What's your what are you thinking about Zach Jones?
Well, I got a feeling that he's gonna be a keeper for the rest of the year. I don't think he's going down. I think he's played pretty good. He's pretty. I think he's pretty good at almost everything, but he is a little bit small in size. But he's not afraid. That's the part I like about him. He's not afraid to go into the corner first.
Right.
To go get the puck and take what's coming. He's, I like him so far. I wish he was 6'3", 215 pounds, but you know what? It's just the way it goes in life.
You mean you wish he was Miller's size?
Oh, please. That would be perfect. That would be the perfect hockey player right there. He's pretty good. Zach Jones is pretty good.
So, Chris, tell me how you feel about Philip Hedl.
I'm tired of him.
So everyone, I
don't want to get into a debate and argument with you. You want to toot his horn? Feel free and let the people know.
So, everyone knows you air out me with Tortorella. So
yeah, we go back and forth. You wore me out for years without.
Ozzy is not a fan of Philip Hedl, and I am. I think Philip Hedl has a good upside. I can't disagree with Chris. He's like, okay, well, if he has such good upside, where has he been for 6 years? But I think a lot of what you said falls on Hedl as well. I don't think, he hasn't gotten all that ice time. He seems to get hurt. He's a little bit more injury prone than I would like. It's hard to be a star when you're hurt all the time. There's something about him that I really like. I feel like there's an element to his game that we haven't seen yet. And I know, and I get it. He's a late bloomer. But like you said, with the cap the way it is and things the way that they are, it's either shit or get off the pot. And if this isn't the year that this kid kind of breaks out and, scores 20 goals and or more and really shows his offensive ability, then I can't disagree with you. It's going to be time to ship him along the way. But I still feel like the kid's got really good hands. I think he's starting to come into his own. I really think he sees the game. I think he sees the ice well. I've watched this guy make passes that are just – they're like works of art, to be honest with you. And I get it.
What did you just say?
I think he can pass
what?
I think he can pass the puck like nobody else, man. I really do. I've seen him make passes. I've just been like, holy shit, he made that pass. What are you laughing at?
I told you I'm done. I don't need to speak about him anymore. I think he should be packaged with Kravtsov and out the door. Personally, that's my opinion.
Who's
Be a good time to do it.
What do you think about this? The fine for? Did you see the Dallas game? You didn't see the. Oh, you saw the Dallas game. I missed the Dallas.
Yeah,
game.
I seen it.
Okay, so I didn't see the goaltender interference with Ty Delalandria.
Delandrio. Yeah.
I didn't see that, but apparently he got fined and.
Well, it was pretty obvious what he did. He made it look like it wasn't. In other words, he wasn't really staring at Shesterkin. The right foot just totally hits Shesterkin's back leg, takes him right out.
Oh, okay.
And don't get me wrong, the rules today, they all know that now. Goalie's untouchable. Goalies have been untouchable for eons in the National Hockey League, but there was a time where goalies, there's a little bit of give and take, you know what I mean? But now you can't touch him. And this kid went in there, took his damn feet out.
Right.
So he deserves it. If this was 30, 40 years ago, the next time you would have seen him would have been in the ER.
Yeah, he would have got his face
kicked.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a kind of slick but dirty move at the same time.
Hey, Mason, anything you want us to cover before we close this thing out? Because it's getting hot in here, and it's getting about time to close the shop.
Well, they used to say that you get used to the heat in Florida.
Yeah,
that's right, Beth. You said it right there.
What'd she say?
Revo should have beat his ass. Unfortunately, Revo didn't play that game.
Yeah, he was benched. He got benched.
He wasn't benched. He was just scratched. They didn't have anybody other than Jamie Benn and that Hackenpah, the other guy on that team that does that stuff.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna play Revo every game when there's nobody there. Yeah, that's one. That's a good one right there. Julian Gauthier has more potential than Filipino. How's that?
Oh.
Every game, this guy gets to the net. Every game. There's no other player in the league that gets to the net like him. His problem is he can't finish. The ones he should finish, he can't. And the one he scored on last night or 2 nights ago was incredible. But that guy gets to the net. He blows by defensemen on a consistent basis every game. Every game, and gets to the net. But boy, I'll tell you, when he gets to the net, for some reason, he's still got the hands of a pan fryer. Just can't finish. But if that guy clicks, then you watch out. I'd rather see him personally. Listen, I'll tell you the honest truth, Paulie. I still stand where I am with Filipino. He's hurt all the time. He's never scored 20 goals in the National Hockey League. I know he hasn't played a full season ever because it's not just because he didn't play. It's because he's hurt all the time. Okay? And you're talking about his 6th year. And you're saying 20 is good for you this year? No. Should be 30, 35 out of that guy, the way you're talking. Should be that much, the way you're talking about him. 20 is not good enough. Lafreniere scored 20 last year. Remember?
Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
No, I you know what? I hope about 3 months from now, you're on the show with a big smile from ear to ear, and you get to shove it right in my face, and I will be glad to eat all the crow on that.
Well, I tell you,
I really would.
I really thought I was going to.
If that happens, that means that's a good thing overall.
I really thought the start of the season, I was very happy with his play. I was like, I think this kid's finally got it. I think he, the last game that he played, he scored like either the first goal or the game winner goal or something.
Yeah, he's got 2 goals on the season, Paulie.
But he's only.
I'm just saying, don't get ahead of yourself. Like he's got 3 or 4. He's got 2 goals.
And how many games?
6 games.
He played 6 games? I didn't think the Rangers played 6 games
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
But how many points has he got?
3.
He's got 3 points with 2 goals.
I checked it already.
Of course you did.
Well,
Of course you did. You remember the Little Rascals? The He-Man Woman Hater Club? God, the Heedle Hater Club.
well, I don't hate the guy. I just think it's time. It's
the
either
Heedle
time.
Hater Club.
It's time for him to shit or get off the pot.
I don't
You
disagree.
can't keep getting hurt on little innocent plays like he got hurt the other night.
What
Does he not have any awareness at all that somebody's going to skate by you? Come on, Paulie. That happened 15 to 20 times a game back in the old days, where a guy skates by and a guy falls. Hito falls, and now it's a concussion for 4 months.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like, come on here. Seriously, get real here.
What
Did
do
you
you
deem that an injury that would have been a concussion? Seriously?
I don't know that he has a concussion. I know
Well,
Kravtsov.
why is he out for 4 games?
Kravtsov has a concussion.
Well, they're not telling you about Hedel. It's a concussion, obviously.
I don't know. I mean,
It wasn't worthy of being hurt for that many games, Paulie. That's all I'm trying to say to you.
I read it as an upper body injury.
Oh, and that's the famous thing now in sports. Anything that happens above the waist is an upper body injury now. Everything.
Oh my!
I didn't think he should have been hurt on that play. I didn't personally.
All right. Here we go.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, like, show a little grit once in a while. You know, take a hit once in a while, and be a man. Go to the bench and shake it off instead of like, oh, I got a slight headache. I got to get off.
I'm hoping that they display Kravtsov enough to trade him. He's the guy I want to see get traded.
Well, he needs. You know, there's only one way he's ever going to stick around the National Hockey League. He's got to do what Kako did. He's got to build up his body.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have all the Filipino skills himself. You know what I mean? Skating great, passing great, shooting great, but he doesn't have the physicality to take the abuse that the NHL gives you. He needs to get stronger, Paulie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't disagree with that. And I tell you, what's discouraging is he sat out last year right after training. They didn't keep him long. Why hasn't he worked why hasn't he worked his body? Why hasn't he?
I think Chris Derry did a smart thing, actually, Paulie, where I'll admit it, my usual explosive self, I would have gonged that guy immediately, like from the organization, period.
Right.
But I would have been wrong. And the reason why I say that is because he's still a piece that you can trade.
Yes.
So Chris Derry played it smart instead of idiots like me barking about I would never let that guy back on my team again for taking off and going back to wherever he came from. Chris Derry did it right. He's got a trade chip in him, you know, and I'll say it too. He probably has a good trade chip with Filipino too. You know, because if these two guys are the guys that are supposed to be next in line, that you think with Hedel especially, what about Othman? What about Will Kiley? These kids are coming, Paulie, and they're coming fast. They're not going to wait another 2 years.
No, I get you.
I figure one or the two of them will be on the Ranger team by next year.
Yeah.
So whose jobs are they going to take? It's going to be that third line centerman.
Hopefully Gucci can get his game together too.
I do too. I still think, he's got potential, but we never know. We don't know for sure. But if you really watched every game Gauthier played in the NHL with the Rangers,
I love him.
He has always had one move to the net every game, which no other Rangers has done.
He's ever. A strong kid. Yep.
But he just can't finish.
I love him. I think he's awesome. And you know, at the end of the day, like you said, if he can find a way to bury the
Oh,
puck, but he still creates opportunity.
yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's really fast. He's got good hands. He's strong. He's really strong.
He's extraordinarily fast because 9 times out of 10, his rushes start at just outside the Ranger blue line. And then the defensemen know he's coming, but they don't realize how fast and how big this guy is. They take him a little too lightly, and he ends up powering right around him every time.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he can finish the other night's goal. The leaping, and that was pretty impressive.
I couldn't believe that he still put it in the net on that bad an angle, falling down.
So, it'll be I'd like to see him stay. I like him a lot. Obviously, what position, who's he going to take over for? I know that, once Kravtsov is healthy and Heedle's healthy, they're going to get back in the lineup. I really think Kravtsov is the guy that's going to get traded this year. I think the Rangers are going to try to display him, unless, somehow, some way he really impresses the coaches. But like you said, it's either going to be him, it's going to be, Heedle. They're going to start making way for what's coming, and then they're going to have to start making way if they try to make an acquisition at the deadline if they're close.
It's going to be hard to trade Kravtsov if he doesn't stay in the lineup for Paulie.
No, I know.
You can't trade an asset that hasn't played.
Right, and I think
you have to showcase him.
Yep. I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. I don't know what kind of contract is. I'm sure he's on.
He's on a 1 year, whatever minimum.
Is it a 2-way? Can we just send him downstairs?
I'm not positive on that. I don't know for sure. The only way there is a site where you can punch his name in and see what it says, but I'm not sure on that. I think he's on a one-way deal.
Yeah. Just want to say good night.
He's making the bare minimum, which was about 5 times more than I made in a year. No, I'm just kidding.
Want to say good night to Barry Shelley. Barry, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the comments and the support as always. Looking forward to those Instigators hockey stickers. Other than that, I think we're good. You want to end this with anything?
Happy Halloween, everybody.
It's been an ugly day. In an ugly way.
Listen, Paulie went beyond, like I said, beyond the Call of Duty today. We were almost going to cancel. We've kind of not been in tune with each other. We finally got the show done. Things are going to get better from here, and hope Paulie will have some air conditioning, because if I come down and you don't have it, I ain't going.
Yeah, I don't blame you. If this air don't go on in the next 10 minutes, I won't be staying here tonight either. So, that's that for that. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us.
Look at that guy.
Come on, man.
Look at that guy.
Look at this guy. See, Kotze wasn't always ugly. Look at him. Handsome.
You know the old story of, I was a Greek god at one time. Now I'm a goddamn Greek.
Oh, hilarious. Oh, hilarious.
Say goodnight to my boy here.
Who you got?
My boy. Look, my boy. You guys.
I know, man.
I've added more to the junk pile since you've been here, by the way.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Kotze has 2 dogs. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. He's cool.
They're called the Wrecking Crew, okay? They're from Marvel. There's a group of them, see? They're called the Wrecking Crew. This guy here, look at that. Look at the helmet on this guy.
the shit this guy collects, it's
The,
insane.
the Wrecking Crew. Isn't that great? The Wrecking Crew. They kicked the crap out of Mighty Thor in the comics.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
If you guys didn't know, Katsy's a big comic book guy.
And Monster.
And when I say comic books, you have no idea. The man has every comic ever created, I think, in the history of our country.
I wish I did.
You do.
Look at these latest.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that
This
one.
is Joe Kubert was a very famous artist. This is his niece that did that. That's a one of a kind.
I got something. Hold on.
Here's his sons. His sons, Batman.
What am I doing? Where is it, Cox? Oh, here it is. I gotta get this framed for us. Put this on the show.
Oh, the comics are up at Barry's place. Yeah.
Courtesy of Barry Shelley.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Saves. That guy's got a good little following going.
Barry's got.
What's his name again? Jay
DeMarco?
Yeah, that's it.
I think.
Yeah, he's got a good little thing going.
I mean, I gotta get this. I want to get this in something soon. I'm actually gonna have it laminated and I'll get it on the wall. I love it. But so before we end the show, obviously we haven't really had time to talk it. Barry, Chris and I were able to go to the Rink of Dreams this summer. Chris and I had a little tour that we did, and just want to thank Barry for his fun time and all the courtesy extended, and met a lot of people and had a lot of fun. So
yes, we did.
Good stuff. And then Barry had these cards made for Kotze. This is actually, I think this was your O-Pee-Chee, right? Wasn't this O-Pee-Chee?
Well, yeah. See, the thing is, I missed my first year card,
right?
And I didn't get a second year card. Believe it or not, that should have been my rookie card right there.
I got your rookie card, bro.
My 82-83 O-Pee-Chee. I'm only in O-Pee-Chee, believe it or not. The only Topps thing I was ever in is a sticker, a top sticker.
Well,
it is what it is. Oh, and we do have to thank Mr. Mason though for bringing us out to Vincent's there, where I ate about 9 pounds of veal parmesan. Remember that,
bro? I didn't. I wasn't finished. I definitely want to thank Michael. What a great dinner! I had linguine and clam sauce, which is that's my go-to at any Italian restaurant, and I got to tell you, top 2 in my life ever. I found out one of the secrets, and it's roasted garlic. Just want to share that. Not only sauteed garlic, but there's roasted garlic in that linguine and clam sauce, and just to
Paulie's quite the cook too. I just want to let everybody know he left me with meatballs the size of softballs here. They were really good. We ended up eating them for a couple of weeks afterwards. Paulie's quite the cook. Well, I guess you have to be when you're single and free, right, Paulie?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Yeah, I love to cook. I actually, it's one of my favorite things to do is to cook good big meals. Obviously, you got to have company to cook as much as you want. So, went down there, enjoyed my stay at the Kotsopoulos crib. Had a lot of fun. Lisa, Kotze's wife, was so accommodating, and the dogs were fantastic. Jekyll and Hyde. So Boss is the best in the world, and I don't know.
Luna just wants to eat you.
Luna just wanted to eat me the entire time, dude. It was hilarious. But anyway, had a great time. What a great way to spend about a week's time in traveling around. I was in Pennsylvania, Cooperstown, New York City and Long Island
And Alley Town.
and Alleytown in what 5 days. So
Yep.
a lot of good stuff, man. But
All right, big boy. Till next time.
yeah, probably gonna get a show in on a weekly basis. I don't see a problem. Just trying to work around the hockey schedule. It's very compact right now. I would imagine it's going to loosen up a little bit. But we like to schedule outside of Ranger games and just, cover as much as possible. So should be pretty good to go on a weekly basis. Tuesdays are usually best, but we'll see what happens.
And hit up Paulie for all the T-shirts and mugs that are coming and whatever memorabilia we're coming up with. We're going to come up with more, but that for now.
With that being said, I'm out of here. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.